Communication starts with the people first. And once we're communicating with the people who we're serving, and we make sure that they're in understanding of how we're serving them and how we can continue to work together so that we serve them better, I think that lends to how our communication goes to our state elected officials as well as to our federal elected officials.
Just a couple of comments. Mr. Yarborough mentioned our problem with the state and our ability to handle all the dilapidated housing in Jackson, and we've worked on that for years, and we really haven't gotten anywhere. So we'll be bringing, hopefully, some things to the state again this year, and I know that you could be a big help to us there, and as soon as we get the legislative agenda together, you will be the first to see what we want, and then I hope that y'all will bring, the administration will bring things forward that you see that we need. I like your whole attitude toward the big picture and our employees and communication and all of that. I know that we have limitations, but I think the most important thing is that we communicate with our constituency over just what our limitations are. We're doing what we can do. This is what we can't do, and let them feel a part of you know, the limitations that we have. You know, they understand it. They just need to be communicated with. I liked what you said about what's working and what's not working. I think that's so important as you evaluate departments, because we've got, as you said, some great things happening. We've got some incredible projects going on right now in the city of Jackson. Other cities right now would love to have some of these projects. But to evaluate in that way, I think is very, very important. And then I think if we could, and I said this last week, and I feel it deeply, if we could instill in every person that works for the city of Jackson that we are the public servants, and we should portray that every day in our exchanges with constituents, with the public, and I think that it would bring a whole new feeling toward the city and toward the elected officials if we could convey that. No matter what the problem is, if people can communicate, the people who go out to look at the problem can communicate and with the public and let them know, yes, we know that we have a problem here. It's more expensive than we can deal with right now, but we're doing what we can. I've had a bunch of those in Ward 7 in recent years, twice pumps going night and day, 24 hours, but I had to constantly communicate with them to let them know that we're doing what we can do. And I think you share that attitude. But I'm just very pleased, and I'm looking so forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mayor Lumumba, I just want to appreciate you for holding up your commitment to being sure that you bring in the best, the brightest minds to the city, and bringing in the best and brightest minds who represent what Mr. Stamps talked about was this new group of leadership who you will be able to trust, you guys will be able to trust to pass the baton to, and giving us the opportunity through our representative, is what I'll say, in the mayor's office, Mr. Green. Ms. Green, I am not easily impressed, but I'm impressed, brother, and I'm excited about getting the opportunity to work with you to make our city what our city definitely is destined to be, and I'm still praying on this Phi Beta Sigma thing. It's the only thing that right now is keeping me from
Holding two hands.
all the way voting for you right now. But I think the Lord will speak by the time we get to the vote.
That'll be all right.
All right, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Green, in my short time in working inside the city government, inside the city of Jackson, sometimes I feel that we get into a situation where we kind of like put our head in the sand and start focusing on just right here, and we lose sight or don't have sight of the bigger picture around the state, around the nation, around the world. And I feel that you bring a global and national perspective to solving problems locally. And I would appreciate, and this is not really a question or comment, you can respond to it if you like. I would appreciate it if you could bring some of that perspective deeper into the employees and the leadership of the city government, just to expose and be a breath of fresh air. And how is that? I know it's something you will do because that's your personality, but I would look forward to you. Taking the things that you've learned over the time in Washington D.C. and from around the world, because you traveled representing America in different countries too. I hope you bring some of that knowledge and experience and talents and infuse it in all departments of the city of Jackson. It's not really a question or a comment. I was just saying that I appreciate that. That's what you bring to the table. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Lady Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, also, this is not a question. I would like to work with you, if you would, to try to address the homeless situation in the city of Jackson and the mentally challenged. What we're finding is that a lot of people who have mental problems, they usually go to jail if something happens, because that's just what people think. Let's just lock them up, but sooner or later they're going to get right back out, and then we're going to have the problem again. But you addressed the situation that I brought to your attention the other day in such a great manner, and I thank you so much. I explained to the gentleman who I introduced you to, this is Mr. Green. He has not been confirmed yet. Did a wonderful job, and again, I would love to work with you and any employees of the city of Jackson who the mayor would allow to work with me on that situation. We do have it in the planning committee, homelessness, and we just need to do something. And I'm sure that that's not going to just be our problem, the city of Jackson problem. I'm sure it's an intergovernmental situation that needs to be addressed, and I would love to work with you on that. Thank you.
Councilman Priester.
Well, since everybody's been so nice, I guess I will ask a question. One of the areas that of particular concern for me, and I know a lot of citizens have, is improving the web presence of the city of Jackson, improving the city's webpage to look better, be more productive, be a more useful tool. It's my understanding that Fred Wilson in the IT department we're sitting on a largely done new rollout for our city webpage. What's your experience with that, and what are some of your strategies to make sure that rollout happens sooner rather than later?
Thank you, Councilman. I have had the opportunity, and we've actually got some ongoing on-site training to kind of go through what the page is and what all the links that are available. And I'm excited about it. Me and Mr. Wilson actually yesterday had the opportunity to sit down, and I went through with him. I said, listen, if I'm just traveling through town, I just got here, I'm in Jackson, I want to go to the web page, where can I eat? He's like, okay, go right here. I was like, oh, it's there. I just got here. I'm looking for how do I communicate with the city? How do I find out what's the safe communities, or what the police department is saying, what public works is saying? He said, oh, click right here. So we've gone through, and I've pretty much been hitting him a barrage of questions of what I know. I'm a kind of techie, and so when it comes down to surfing the web, I like web pages to be user friendly. And so that's kind of what has been the push for the page, and the interest of the mayor is to make sure that page is made available as quickly as possible. So that is something we are working towards a quick end on, making sure that it goes online soon.
Okay. Ready to vote. Okay. President has the last word, right? No questions, just a few comments. Again, welcome back to Jackson. I've known you since you were a little boy following your mother. And I've kind of kept up with your whereabouts, because every time I see your mother, I ask about you and your sister. Then Senator saw it, and when we have conversations sometimes, she often talk about you used to talk about you, the late Senator. Go back to what Councilman Yarborough just mentioned about the mayor. To bring good, bright mind. This city to move it forward. And thus far, Mayor, you're on the right track. And I think we're gonna move forward. I like change. Change is good to improve momentum of anything. I like what you said about having a sound relationship with other government entities. And I like what you said that the city of Jackson government should be the pillar of government in the state of Mississippi, because we the state capital. And we ought to be the shining star. I like that. And with the mayor bringing others to work along with you in this council, I think we're going to move in the right direction. And I look forward to working with you, the mayor, and others. And I like the transparency Councilman Whitwell just mentioned. We all fussed about that. And I think we're going to see more of that. Communication piece. Oh, that's very important. Now, I always mention from time to time that the council and the administration ought to have what I consider a PowerPoint. When we go out to make speeches, and we all make speeches, we invite to make presentations and speeches and serve on panels. Maybe from time to time, we should have what I consider a PowerPoint that we talk from. So we would be giving the community the same information. We would be stressing the same concerns. And we would be presenting the same plans. That's where we're going. That's the way we're going to go there. We need that. So again, I look forward to working with you. I guess I'll stop there. And we are ready to vote. Now, we are voting for change, momentum. We are voting to bring one of our own back home, to be a shining example. If you go to Jackson Public School and do the right thing, there are opportunities back in the community. People are going to be looking at you. You and Mr. Priester. Some stamps. Homegrown young men. Young men. I like that. Will the clerk read the order, please?
Order confirming the mayor's nomination of Synarus Green as Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Jackson, Mississippi.
So move adoption.
Second.
That being moved and second, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? No, unanimous. Congratulations.
I want to thank the council for its kind consideration, this vote to confirm Mr. Synarus Green as our Chief Administrative Officer. I think we made a wise choice. I also want to thank all the other officials who've come here, and particularly Judge Green. I didn't see her back there.
I've been looking for her all day, and I just found out she's back there.
Yeah, you know, and you know, Synarus is real, and he's kind of unusual. He's real confidential about his age, you know. And so the only thing I know, he's got to be a young man because he's Judge Green's son. So that's all.
let's give him an opportunity and tell us all his relatives that are here and all his friends. He got a lot of support here. You might want to introduce them.
I don't know who's not a friend, but again,
You'll find out soon.
actually, I also have a relationship with the mayor's chief Horton. Chief Horton taught me my first kicks. So we also go way back. Sitting right behind him is my mother.
Stand up, Judge Green, we can't see you.
Yeah, and Seneca is her staff attorney. I see her I call them her bouncers. If you two would please stand.
The bouncers.
That's her bailiffs. I don't tell my mom, but I feel real comfortable with those two men, making sure that she's getting where she needs to get and she's safe when she gets there. Again, my uncle is sitting right here, Larry Turner. If you would please stand up. I think he's left the room. Mr. Walker, Robert Walker, is
There you go.
Mr. Robert Walker. You all know him, but I also know him. He's been a trusted friend of mine, and I'm glad you showed up. And I think that's. Am I leaving anybody? It's like at church. I don't want to. If I leave anybody, put it on my head, not my heart. Okay, thank you.
Okay, on behalf of the council, I'm sure the mayor glad to have good supporters. All of us need good supporters. And Mr. Green gonna need all our support. He's young, and he's gonna need some good guidance, and let's give him the best advice and the best guidance that we possibly can. I know and when I work with young people, I try to give them the best. They are young. They need our guidance. Some of us been around a little while, and we've seen the bumps. We've had to deal with the bumps. So we don't want them to have to go through some of those things. And we had to learn the hard way. So now